On December 3rd, I had an appointment again with Aubrey, the Vice President of Instruction at my college, and um, that video series I was making about my experiences with school did not turn out the way I expected it to. So I was this close to giving up on it, but I woke up like just in the nick of time to make it to that appointment, and kind of like hauled my wraith-like body into the car and went to see him, and it actually turned out pretty alright. Like, it was really interesting because, like, well, I mean, mainly just because someone was, like, listening to me and, like, appreciated my ideas. That's cool. So, what more to say? I guess we can talk about the points that were raised with Mr. Aubrey. I forget his last name or whatever. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything. It's just that's what I remember. His name is Aubrey, and it makes me sound important. So, yeah, I remember him agreeing with me about lots of the dysfunctions in the school system, and the point that came across really effectively was the just appalling and utter absence. It's lack isn't even a good word. Total and complete freaking absence of effective communication between the school and the students. And I mean, it's just blatantly obvious, like painfully obvious, that the whole system is like totally freaking failed. And he illustrated this with an example that was like, he was watching some like teacher expert or whatnot, some like person who's like in the administration staff, was talking to a class, and he told the class, all right, you guys are gonna get out an hour early. And everyone in the entire class, like not without one exception, is like, yes, awesome. And Aubrey told me that his colleague said to the students, you know, that is fucking fascinating. Well, I probably didn't say fucking, but that is fascinating. Hey, fuck that. You know what? Fuck that. I'm not even going to go there and apply that value. I'm just going to speak as it comes naturally to me, and I'm not even going to give that shit attention, because that's just because people have been telling me, like, oh, you shouldn't use swear words. And so, even though I would swear a lot normally without really even thinking about it or noticing it or having an opinion about it, just because that point has come up, now I'm doing that, and so fuck that. I'll just say what I need to say. So anyway, he said, well, that's interesting because this is like the one place where you guys are actually paying for something and you want less of it, because you think that people, you know, because they themselves paid for school, and so you think they'd want the best they could get out of their money, and they'd be like, fuck no, I'm not leaving, I'm gonna stay here, and I'm gonna study in class. I paid for this time. But no one's like that. I know what that's like. If the class gets out early, I'm like, yes, fucking great. So it's like not impossible to think about designing education in a way that fucking people enjoy. And that point tied to practicality, because the school system is just so utterly impractical. It has like this much to do with, okay, that much to do with what the students are actually like required to do in this world. And it's like, let's say that I'm in a position where if I don't if I don't if I so let's say that I have to answer 5 questions, like a game show, like those game shows on television and shit. I have to answer 5 questions, and if I don't get these questions right, then they're gonna throw me out into the elements, and I'm gonna have to be hungry and cold for the rest of my life. So if I don't ask these 5 questions right. So you'd think I'm gonna want to go study so I can know the answers to these 5 questions. But no, no. What they're gonna make me do is they're gonna make me do 15 hula hoops and then jump through 2 rings of fire before I'm even allowed to go and study. So here I am on the field doing push-ups and jumping jacks, going, what the fuck am I freaking doing? So that I can answer these 5 questions and not have to be cold and hungry. That's like how fucked up, and just it's like a freak circus. It's like a circus, but uh, lots more pain. I guess you could look at it from, because circuses apparently are incredibly cruel and full of pain on their own. So, I mean, there's like that's like not even an appropriate analogy, because it's like saying, oh, that guy, he just beat his kid. It's just like, it's analogous to beating his dog. It's like not like an analogy, because it's just the same fucking thing. So that's like how it's like a circus, the educational system. So yeah, that was basically it. I got out of that meeting with him, and I went to class, and I went late with Mr. Aubrey, and then when I was in class, I was just like, again, just like coming out of like this engaging and active environment that I was interested in, and then just being dropped in like dead water, just like, and the teacher's just up there talking, and she doesn't like her job, and she doesn't like experiencing herself, and she just wants to get done with it. And anything that like gets in the way, like me having questions or wanting to explore the material and like put it in the context of my life and have something of like a, God forbid, discussion in class, she's got no patience for that, no time for that. She wants to get it fucking done so she can get the fuck out of there. And so we all sit there in dead silence as she just talks, and no one gives a fuck, and it's just painfully obvious. And yeah. So while I was sitting in class, this point of like superiority came up, where I saw myself like, and had the desire and motivation emotionally to come out and be like, you know, be just like an obnoxious fucking prick, like I'm better than all of you, and fuck that. That's not helpful. I'm not going to allow that. It's just going to get in the way. Anything else on that point? Let's see. Um, yeah, it comes from inferiority and self-pity and blame. Ew. It's kind of a little bit, revolting, that state of mind. Yeah, so just fucking stop it, which I did, and don't participate in it, and don't fall into like this form of obsession and self-judgment about me having done something wrong. It's just, I don't know what it is. So that point of inferiority wasn't effectively addressed or dealt with when I was dealing with Mr. Aubrey. It was just kind of fed, that point of like, oh yes, I am right. I've always been right. They are wrong. I am right. I am in control. I am the superior one all of a sudden. Alright, so This has started to get like a little bit, I don't like it because I'm getting a little bit too like focused on that point, and I think that's not necessary to stop it. So I'm going to end the video. Goodbye.